Hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here today. My name is Sarah McLean, and it is our first Sunday of the month, March 2nd, 2025. And it's my pleasure to be with you today. Usually I share a little insight as to what's going on in my personal spiritual life, and then hopefully I invite you into the conversation about that. So I welcome you, whether you're here live or you're listening to this in a recording. And I was really thinking about imagination and our use of imagination. And this was all stemmed from a short little clip, a video of the formerly known as Prince artist, that musician. And he was talking to somebody, he said to them, do you watch scary movies? And the person said, yes, I do. And he said, well, bring to mind an image from a scary movie. Now you can do this too. I don't watch them, but I did when I was maybe 14, 15. And my husband doesn't watch them either, but I asked him, and he immediately brought to mind this vision of something happening in the movie called Alien. And in the movie called Alien, apparently alien just comes out of somebody's chest. I don't know, but it frightened him and it scared him. And I just want to say that our use of imagination, I believe, and this happened just recently after hearing this, has been hijacked. The use of our own imagination has been hijacked. And I want to give you an example of that. Um, Whether you're watching the news or social media or think about the worst thing that's going to happen I know a lot of people are upset about what's going on in governments around the world, what's going on in war-torn countries, what's going on all over the place, whether it's in your local world or in the worldwide community. And quite often we're being sort of force-fed, whether we know it or not, images, images that are hard to shake and images that can take over our nervous system. And I'm finding it to be true, so much so that a lot of us have lost our ability to use our imagination for the good. And Louise Hay used to say, she's a publisher, as you may know, of Hay House, and I am an author for Hay House. Louise Hay used to say, do not scare yourself. Do not scare yourself. And I didn't know I was scaring myself. You probably don't know you're scaring yourself, but scaring yourself can look like fearing that the worst is going to happen if no one stops whatever is happening now, fearing that the world's going to come to an end because the wrong people are making the wrong decisions, scaring yourself with images of war which are thrown at us in the news or the media, scaring ourselves with imaginings of our own mortality. And, I believe that we don't have to scare ourselves, that we actually have to really employ our ability to imagine, our ability to imagine. And I want to share, I think I've got a couple of quotes here, and it was Einstein who said, let me just see this. Einstein said, imagination is everything. It is the preview of a life's coming attractions. And I was staying at a friend's house the other day, and there was a picture of Pablo Picasso's quote. He's a painter himself who was painting Pablo Picasso, who was painting this other guy. And there was this quote on there, and it said, everything you can imagine is real. Everything you can imagine is real. And so, for those of you who know how to use your imagination for good, like a lot of people who follow Dr. Joe Dispenza or who may employ some of the tricks, let's just say, of the movie The Secret, you know that vision boards and your imagination can really help you to feel better, but it might even be that you're calling in a future, calling in a present by putting your attention on a beautiful future. So, have you ever noticed that when you're stressed out, because if you're scaring yourself, obviously there's a correlating hormonal change in the body when uh, the fight or flight response gets activated. When your imagination gets hijacked by fear, you start to paint all kinds of disastrous scenarios. I have a great teacher of this. It's my mother. If there is a fire in California anywhere, which there always is, she's pretty sure I'm in it, and she'll say, "Gosh, what's going on? Are you okay?" And she's scaring herself every single day by extrapolating some information from some broadcast and turning it into a disaster where I'm involved. And, I call her, she's always praying one way or another. And when she's not aware of what she's thinking about, she's got these negative prayers. Worry is a negative prayer. Worry is creating these scenarios that don't exist except for in the imagination. So I think it's time now to reclaim our imagination. Reclaim it so much so that the bad news can't take hold. And if it does, you are so clear and aware because of your meditation practice that you're able to change the story, change the scenario. Science actually backs this up. It shows that positive visualizations and creative visualizations and imagination can rewire your brain, can reduce stress, and can increase those feel-good hormones that are part of the rest and digest response. The dopamine hits, the yummy chemicals that get released when you feel good. And so this obviously improves your health and improves your outlook and maybe can even, I hope, stave off our depressive mindsets. So today I'm going to invite you into a visualization. And no, I don't actually visualize on demand. I'm just going to say that there are many of us that don't. So that's called aphantasia. If you can't imagine a pink elephant on demand, which is totally fine, some of us cannot. So I'm going to suggest that you feel into it, and you might be surprised by something that shows up when you imagine a future that excites you. And so, for those of you brand new here, I like to meditate for about 20 minutes and guide you into a practice. And let's see how it goes. I just know that what's really important to remember is that we exist in a field of love. This is something I actually directly experienced one time. I experience it often in meditation, but I had a near-death experience about maybe 10 years ago. And I'm not going to go into the details of it, except for I am going to go into the experience of it for you because it was so phenomenal that it changed the way I see the world. And I was just sitting there and it overtook my entire being. And, for those of you who know me, I'm an animal advocate. I am always trying to save the children and the animals, the innocent ones. I will save a bug. I will save a dog on the side of the road. I will save anything I can, and I feel like it's my job to do it. So as I was sitting there, I noticed that I was getting a perspective that was far, 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 far away from where anyone is sitting, way beyond. In Buddhism and Zen Buddhism, they call it gate, gate, paragate, beyond the beyond. But yet I still was able to focus on the current situation in the world. And as I was in the beyond, I kept on feeling as if everything had dissolved. Every single situation, experience, judgment started to dissolve into this field of love. Now, it's a hard thing to explain. I've never explained it really to anyone, but I can explain it to you. I'll try. So I was in this field of love where there was no separation between me and my husband and my cats, my dog, my house, my neighbors, the world. And then all of a sudden it felt so yummy. It was just this nourishing bath of love. And then all of a sudden something dawned on me. But what about those people that abuse animals? What about those people that hurt children? What about those people that are out here trying to hurt everybody? And what was highly unusual for my judgmental mind was there was no judgment, even though my mind was going, hey, wait a minute. And all of it sort of melted into love. Everything. It was hard for me to believe because I know there's right and wrong, right? You probably think so too. But in this imagining or in this direct experience, there was nothing but love. nothing but love. So my husband calls it the field of love. I call it the ocean of love, which is why I had to put that up here today. And it's just something to try on. It doesn't make any sense logically. I know because we do often have to decide between yes and no, yum and yuck, right and wrong, good and bad. I know that. But what if it's a possibility that everything is love? What if that's possible? What if it's true? So anyway, it was my direct experience, which lasted for about maybe 10 minutes, and it was phenomenal. And I will always hold that as a possibility and invite you to do the same. So as we meditate today, I'm going to invite you to relax, ideally sitting upright in a dignified posture. You can sit relatively still with your eyes closed or softly gazing toward the ground. I'm going to guide us into a mindfulness practice to start letting the nervous system settle down. And then we'll move into a visualization, an imagination practice. And whether you're good at it or not, we can make that imagination muscle. We can at least start to strengthen it so that you're in charge of it rather than someone else. So let's close the eyes or gaze downward to the ground and remember that your mind might wander and it's okay. Your job is to come back here into this moment. It's also true that you might spend a little time beating yourself up. So my advice is to be kind to yourself. Also, you think you might know what's going to happen, but put that aside and let whatever's going to happen happen instead of what you think should happen. And lastly, don't try too hard. Trying is a mental gyration, and we're going to let this go beyond the mind, beyond the thoughts, into the imaginal realm. So let's start by giving ourselves some deeper breaths, ideally through the nose. Breathing in slowly and fully at your own pace and letting the air out, whether you're letting it out through the mouth or the nose, whatever's comfortable. 3 long, slow, deep breaths. This sends a signal to your body that it's okay to relax. As you begin to imagine that you are in this field of love. Or if you prefer, an ocean of love, surrounded by love. Not the sentiment of love, but everything that is in existence is love. That includes you and everything you are aware of. Allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm and depth. There's no need to try and control or regulate your breath. As you settle into this moment, beginning to welcome everything you hear in your environment. That every sound, whether you prefer it or not, meets your ears. It's like love meeting love. Sounds arising from the silence and returning to the silence. Not resisting anything, but simply welcoming everything that's you are aware of. Beginning to notice the sounds inside your body. The sound of miracles, of your heart beating, the movement of your breath, And as the late great Ram Dass said, imagine that you are loving awareness, that you love everything you are aware of. Turning your attention now to sensation. The sensation of the air on your skin, the sensation of the clothing draped over your body, the sensation of the support beneath you. Feeling the sensation of the aliveness pulsing through your body. The subtle movements, tingling, swaying. And invite your body to soften as you let go of any tension in your face, as you soften your chest, relax your belly, becoming aware of any tension you feel and invite it to soften and relax, as there's no need to brace yourself. Settling into the safety of this moment. Welcoming everything you are aware of. And turning your attention to the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Imagine a light glowing from behind your breastbone, a soft glow that might even pulse with your heartbeat. And with each breath, this glow gets brighter and brighter. This is the light of your loving awareness. And you can ask yourself, what is my heart's desire? What do I long for? Perhaps you already know. Perhaps the question is met with silence or some sort of image or word. Whatever is the response, simply be comfortable with the question. And invite now your imagination to create the most beautiful world. Perhaps you imagine the air crisp and clean, the gentle breeze caressing your skin. Perhaps there's beautiful aromas of jasmine or rose. Imagining these clear skies, and maybe you can even see the photons of light. Feeling a sense of ease. Imagine a world where you're fully safe and comfortable, nourished and fulfilled. You see your neighbors and they feel the same with their harmonious relationships, their kindness, their generosity. Looking around, perhaps you see the beauty of the animals or the birds. Everything seems as if it's at play. No worries about the future and no burdens from the past. Just this existential joy that is everyone's birthright. Picture your fulfillment rippling outward, awakening a world where nature is alive and sentient. You can have a conversation with a tree or a rock or your neighbor. Love meeting love. When you meet another being, your eyes connect and you feel the divinity within yourself and them. Perhaps the wind is blowing through the grass or the trees are swaying with love and wisdom. Perhaps your body feels light and free. Allow your imagination to create the most beautiful world. There's no one way to do it. Your way is the way. Imagine everyone has plenty to eat and drink. Safety abounds. Everyone has shelter, and communities are thriving. You see the light and the shadows, the movement and the stillness, the dance of creation. And when grief arises, love meets it. When sadness arises, love holds it. When pain is made present, love dissolves it. You can imagine yourself walking in your favorite path, whether in the woods or on the beach, in the mountains or in the desert. You're walking in a field of love, a path of love. Imagine you feel completely fulfilled. And whatever your secret desires are for your own personal fulfillment, or for your family, or your friends, or your neighbors, or the world, allow yourself to imagine that your desires are fulfilled, even the most seemingly impossible ones. Allow the strength of your imagination to meet all of your desires and their fulfillment. If any of your mental activity rises to meet this fulfillment, simply thank it. If it opposes the possibility, say, I hear you, but love wins. The fears, the small self, all of it fades into love. You might notice you move more slowly in this field of love, that there is no rush. that your body flows. Perhaps you even sing a song to yourself in your beautiful voice. Perhaps you feel the presence of unseen visitors, celestial beings who have been keeping their eyes on you and loving you through the difficulties. They finally make themselves known. Allowing yourself to bask in the beauty of this creation, basking in the field of love. Knowing that life loves you, every part of you, that you're entirely lovable. Even when the mind protests, you know the truth of this. And imagine that you come across a beautiful, clear pond, completely still. And as you come to the edge of the pond, you gaze at your own reflection. You see yourself as one who's claimed peace and beauty. You see the love that shines from your heart and your eyes. You see your face glowing with love and beauty. Maybe there's something you need to say to yourself. Maybe there's a message. Perhaps you know that love lives through you as you. And whatever words you've exchanged with your beautiful self, you can remember them and continue to walk on that path. Feeling balanced, harmonious, and fulfilled. Perhaps you stand still and sense your breath. Gratitude fills your heart. Bring into your awareness what you're grateful for. And perhaps there is a touchstone from this journey, from this imagining that you want to remember and take with you. Whether it was something in the scene you imagined or the words you said to yourself, or a physical sensation. Anchoring it into your awareness right now. As you find yourself sitting right here in the seat from where this journey began, keeping that body soft, surrendered to the fact that love lives through you, as you, and you dwell in this field of love. And though the mind might want to go back to its habit of good and bad, you can stay right here, observing everything with the eyes of love. And silently saying to yourself, I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. We'll sit like this for another minute or so, and I'll keep track of the time. Resting in the knowing that you are loving awareness, aiming to love everything you are aware of, and seeing everything that you can't love or seem to not be able to love as a cry for love. I am loving awareness. I invite you now to deepen your breath, falling in love with the sensation of breathing. Inviting some movement into the body, slowly wiggling your fingers and toes or stretching into the space around you, loving the sensation of this body. And when you feel like you'd like to open your eyes, take your time. There's no rush. Allowing your loving gaze to rest on love, the space around you, the scene around you, the people that are nearby you, or the people on the screen. And my prayer for you is that you never forget that you are love. And love lives through you as you. It's always looking for ways to delight you, charm you, and fulfill your desires. So thank you for joining me today. You're the one in charge of your imagination. And it all starts there. So this is a superpower. And I hope that you use it for your own well-being. So thank you for joining me today in this symphony of our coexistence, in this symphony of love. Namaste. Opening your eyes and seeing the beauty that surrounds you. And if you don't see beauty, you can suddenly, instantaneously make that shift. It's all up to you.